Hello, my name is Isaac and this is my 2006 Toyota Tundra double cab, four-wheel drive, overland truck build tour. It's been a while since I've done a tour of this rig, and I have done a whole bunch of stuff since the last one, and this was kind of built for full-time travel, overland exploration, things like that. And I just think it'd be really cool to take you through the whole truck and do a tour of this whole setup so you can see what I got going on and why I made some of the decisions that I made, and maybe help some of you out there make some decisions that you may be making as well. So let's get into the tour. All right, we'll start with the truck and like the exterior, and we'll kind of go through all that before we get into the camper. So again, this is a 2006 Toyota Tundra double cab V8 four-wheel drive. It has the 4.7, which is like one of the most reliable motors Toyota ever made. This is the first gen Tundra. I specifically looked for this truck, got it out of California. I wanted this very specific truck the last year of the first gen, the double cab. And I looked and looked and looked and pulled it from another state because I wanted a very specific truck, and I wanted white. The truck has been amazing. I've had the truck going on like 2 years now, and I have slowly done a bunch of different things to it, but it's got about 233,000 miles on it and doesn't bother me. I think I'll easily hit 400K on this, and I guess we'll all find out on that side of the channel. But I used to really love 7.3 power strokes. I come from a school bus world where that's what I sought, but I have had catastrophic failures. The power strokes are amazing, but if it comes time for catastrophic failure, 7.3 power stroke motor alone is 12 grand. This motor alone is 3 grand. So it's like, and you know, this is only a half ton. There's a whole bunch of arguments on both sides. I ended up going this route just because Toyotas are great, and I wanted to protect myself from one of those moments in the future. So a few things we did. We'll talk about suspension. So it has Bilstein 5100s all the way around with just a leveling kit, just to kind of level it out. So it lifts it up, I think, 1.5 inches or something. Don't quote me. It came like that. And then it does have airbags in the back that Mule Expedition Outfitters put Daystar cradles on. And then I'm riding Nomad wheels. These are 17-inch wheels. And I've got BF Goodrich KO2s. I love these tires. Been using these a really long time. And the size is 265/70/17. The more I use this truck, the more I'm realizing that I do want to kind of upgrade the suspension a bit. But this truck has gotten me places I never thought in a million years I could have gone. That's the suspension I'm running right now. I do plan on upgrading that. And as I upgrade the truck and change things, I'll do another tour then. But that's what I'm running right now. As we come to the front of the truck, I did upgrade the housings for the headlights. These were just getting kind of dull and faded. Upgraded these, and then I put LED headlights and upgraded and replaced all of the bulbs inside just to give myself, you know, better visibility at night. And I will say too, I found myself looking for camp spots late at night. These are really great, but I do think I want to add a light bar at some point in the future just to help give myself visibility when I'm in the middle of the woods looking for a place to sleep. I got literally the last set of factory Baja Designs pocket fogs that were made specifically for this truck. It was the last set ever made and sold, and they are amazing, and I'm stoked that I was able to do that, because now everybody's kind of got to rig stuff up, but those were specifically made for this years ago. Got the last set. Baja Designs fogs, LED front headlights, and then eventually I'm going to put a light bar. This is the SR5 trim package. So it came with like cloth interior, which is cool, but I did a few things in there, so let me show you that. Okay, I have been living out of this truck for a while right now, so it's a mess, but I just want to show you what's going on. So you can see that it had the cloth interior, but I got this Covercraft Carhartt seat covers for the whole truck, and that has been amazing. has like this dark gray. It's got the push button 4-wheel drive. I ended up adding a backup camera and CarPlay, which gives it a little bit modern luxury. I also upgraded all the speakers, give myself just a little more niceness. But literally the seat covers have been great. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she jacks this interior up. This is great. These Carhartt cover crafts, GPS or the CarPlay and the backup camera just gives me a bit more of a modern feel. New speakers, it's an older truck. Just makes it a lot more comfortable. We're gonna focus on everything truck related before we get into the camper. On this side of the truck, you're gonna see that we have these Fender racks. This is from a company called Staple. And the really cool thing about these racks is it gives you a lot of the utility and functionality of having a flatbed, like storage and mounting. You can mount a roto packs right here. You can put a water jug. I've got an axe shovel kit. Flatbeds are like $15,000 to $18,000 for a little bit of storage. And it's like, this is like way less, and you get a lot of that utility and a lot of that storage and functionality with these racks. And then you don't got to spend $1 million to have this. Like, it's a lot of labor to take a bed off and put a flatbed on. So definitely check out Staple. I forgot that I have something on the other side I'll show you too, but this is their Molly panel setup, and I'm gonna add a Rotopax or water here. But storage for like 10% of what a flatbed costs. This has been amazing. This has been a new addition. I figured we better head back to this side of the truck and show you this Fender rack. So this is from the same company, Staple, and this is like a storage container, but it's also a table. So you can store stuff in here. It's a storage box. You can use this as a table, which is really nice. I'm eventually probably going to put like tools and stuff in here, and then you can cook off this. And the cool thing about it is being underneath the awning. So it's like if I'm ever in bad weather, being able to pull that out and have a cooking space covered, as well as being able to get to my fridge and stuff, gonna be epic. So again, definitely check out Staple. They are basically crossing the bridge between flatbed and original truck beds, and way cheaper. Figure we better talk about my heater situation while we're over here. So this is a Vellet portable gasoline heater, and I have it just sitting on a tire step thing that I got off Amazon. I can put links to all this stuff, but the cool thing about this Vellet portable heater is this tube actually collapses and will fit in the box, and then you only have 2 wires to connect to power in the thermostat, and then it's got a fuel tank. I'll show you. It has a fuel tank sitting on the back, and then it just sits here, and then my camper has a heater port right there, so it just clicks right in. And the cool thing about this being gasoline is this is a gasoline truck, so I don't have to carry multiple fuel sources. Like, I can just carry extra gas, and I can use it for the heater, I can use it for the truck. They do make a diesel version as well if you have a diesel truck or rig or whatever. This has been amazing. It's thermostat controlled, so you just set it to whatever temperature you want, and it'll kick on and on throughout the night and hold that temperature. And like, that tank will last me like, I've pushed it 2 days without refilling. I could probably go 3. I just don't want to run out in the middle of the night. So definitely can get enough fuel in there to get you through a really cold night. And then the thermostat control, it's like comfortable as being in a house. But I will say this, I have been full-time in this truck for a little bit now, and this is a really, really, really great option for camping or being out like in BLM, where you can stick a heater on the side of your truck. But being on the road this long, I have noticed there's been times where I have had to just pull into a parking lot in the middle of the night, and I'm not comfortable sitting this out in the middle of a city. Somebody could see it, and it's also a red flag that somebody's sleeping in the vehicle. So this setup works, and if you're just gonna camp and things like that, this is amazing. But Vellet actually makes a installation heater that I am planning on installing, because I just want to be able to turn a dial, be able to use the heater and have it be stealth if I end up in a Walmart parking lot somewhere. And I learned that on this trip. So that's something you might want to think about if you're just camping. This is amazing. You don't have to install anything. You don't have to cut any holes. But if you're going to be really traveling out of your rig and you might end up in a parking lot one day or one night or something, like sometimes that electric blanket in a winter night ain't quite enough. So that's my 2 cents on that. I think it's finally time to talk about the truck camper that I chose to put on the back of this Toyota Tundra 6.5 foot bed, or it's like 6'3". Anyways, the truck camper that I picked is a Radica Moonlander X. And we'll talk about the options I chose and why I chose this camper specifically. The Radica Moonlander X is kind of a hybrid. It's a hard-sided topper that sits on top of the bed rails. It's light. They frame it with aluminum and they put aluminum sheeting on it. I had a pop-up camper before this, which was really, really great, but it was really heavy. And I found myself toting around 1,100 pounds just to go to the grocery store to go get some eggs. Wear and tear on the truck. If you were full-time in the truck, I think it's amazing. You have all of the luxuries of home, blah, 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 blah. I do have a house and a home base, and now at this point in my life, I have a daughter, and I'm only traveling sometimes. It's not full-time. And with that being said, I wanted use of my truck bed to be able to do truck stuff and haul stuff all the time. So the fact that I can pull the bed panels completely out of this, and it's just a big shell that protects my storage and my gear that I'm throwing in the back to lug around. It basically was the best of both worlds. It made my truck a better truck, but then it also gave me a house and a camper when I needed it. It's 530 pounds, so it's half of the other camper that I had as far as weight. And it's just, I hardly even felt it when I started driving around with it, and when they popped it on, the suspension didn't even move. So it's light and it's very functional, well-rounded, which is why I chose it. It gives me a truck when I need a truck. It gives me a house when I need a house. And yeah, so this is the Moonlander X version, and the options that I got on the exterior, if I can think about it, is I think the lighting, yeah, the lighting comes standard. I did do the biggest Arctic turns that I could put on each side, just so I could have the nice windows. And then I did a cab side window, and then I did a back window so you could see going through. I did the max air fan, and I did the roof foam decking. And recently I did the propane tank mount over there. I'm trying to just stick to exterior. And then recently I just went back to Colorado to have them add the jack stand mounts and to add the bubble window. So now I can stand in this camper in the bubble window and change my clothes, things like that, and it makes it a lot more comfortable. If you have a full-size truck and you're like 5'6" or under, there's a good chance you could stand in one of these things. But it's not that bad either, because the trade-off is if you have a super big, super tall camper, it gets top heavy, it gets heavier. So this is one of those deals. It's kind of an in-between hybrid. I love it. I think we should go inside and talk about that and how I have that whole setup. Okay, let's open up the back of the truck and I'll talk about all that. You can see I got the propane mount over there. I also have this suction cup Roto Packs, Sea Sucker Roto Packs combo situation. This is where I carry my extra gasoline that I mainly use for the heater, but if I'm ever in a pinch, I could toss some in the truck. And it just opens up. I love having my tailgate back. And I have an Overland Gear Guy truck tailgate trash bag. You can see, just kind of hangs. And I love that thing. Having my trash outside is amazing. I think I should get up in here and kind of talk to you about what's going on in here. Let's talk to you about the inside of the camper. So I decided to go with their insulation package. And if you're trying to save a little bit of money, like you could get one of these campers completely bare bones and you could do a lot of this stuff yourself. But I was busy doing a bunch of other things. I didn't want to deal with it. I ended up going with their insulation package and I love it because of the carpet. So you can see that I have these little like clear bags and it's just Velcro. So they just Velcro up. They're light. I got these from Oregon AT, and I'll put links in the description for all this stuff. And it's been awesome. And none of this has ever fell out. They just Velcro up, they zip shut. Having the carpet walls has been awesome for more storage on the side of the walls. I did do the lighting kit from Radica, and it really is nice. Being able to, the lighting's great and it has a few different modes and it dims. Check this out. So I can stand up completely straight in here and I can look out at the world and kind of see my surroundings while the windows are up, which takes me to the windows. The Arctic turns are amazing. They flip out, but then they also have this shader and this bug screen. If I would have known how cool those windows were, I would have got another one on the back hatch so that I could blind it really quick, open it real quick. The Arctic turn windows are amazing. If I even built a van in the future, like these windows are epic. Get the Arctic turn windows, love them. Also, if you're short, get the bubble window. And it's kind of nice at night. You can like see the moon and see the rain. Super cool. I have the queen set up for their bed platform. And this is the Hest Dually Queen mattress. And this whole thing will fold out if I have the family into a queen size bed. Whenever I'm riding solo, I typically just leave it in couch mode. That way I have a little bit of living space. I can get to my power. I can get to my fridge. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, I also got the Max Air fan option. It's great to move air through here when the windows are open and that thing's kicking. It's great. Also, the cool thing about the Moonlander X is all the storage that you have above the cab. I've got my shader for the bubble window. I've got my kitchen supplies. I got extra blankets. This is a rumple blanket. I got an extra pillow up there. It's a lot of storage. And then they have this netting material that blocks it off. And then I also put a staple 4-way ratchet to help keep the stuff from bouncing out. The storage is amazing. And I think one of the things that I realized in this setup is the amount of storage underneath this bed. That's a lot of volume as far as storage. Those normal truck campers where it's popping up and it's got the cabinets on the side, there's no storage typically. So the fact that I have all this storage underneath here is huge. And then combine that with up there, I would be very curious if any other camper on the market has as much storage as this. Let's move on. Let's see, did I talk about everything in the camper? I think so. So I have an Indel B fridge that is on a slider. So it slides out when I'm outside the tailgate. And it's like a TB41 and it's got this jacket on it to protect it from the elements, help keep it cool. Love this thing. Kind of wish I would have got a dual zone with a freezer though. Never thought I was going to spend as much time in this truck as I have. If I'd have known that, I would have did a bigger fridge with a dual zone freezer. My power system, this is a ComVolt all-in-one power system. This thing is amazing. It's it's equivalent to 328 amp hours at 12 volt. It's massive. It has a bunch of stuff on the front, USBs, blah, blah, blah. It's running the whole camper. But the special thing about this is it has high output 12 volt. So I can wire in a fuse block and wire it like a typical van build. And the power station will handle it. Most power stations only have like a 15 amp 12 volt output, so it can't handle a fuse block. This one can. The other thing is this comes with a DC to DC charger. So this thing is great. It's all in one. I have a 30 amp DC to DC charger coming off the alternator. It's got the biggest solar panel from Radica on the front which I think is about 200 watts. Don't quote me on that. So I'm able to charge this power station 3 ways. I can charge it with a 110 outlet if I'm at home or have access to one. It charges while I'm driving, and it also charges with the sun. I have never ran out of power, and I use the power like I'm at home. I do not conserve. Between solar and driving, this power station is always full. Definitely check out ComVolt. Again, links in the description for all this stuff. Also, I have a bed rug, which is honestly great. So I went lighter on the camper because it's a topper. And then with the bed rug, it helps insulate the truck bed a bit, and it just makes it feel way more cozy. I can take my shoes off and I have carpet under my feet. I can just sweep it out. I can wash it. Bed rugs are great. Again, I got like one of the last bed rugs ever made for this truck. You can't even get. They used to make it for a first gen Tundra. They don't make it anymore, so you'd have to find one used. I got lucky when I bought a Lear shell a million years ago that it came with the bed rug, specifically made for this truck. And the Moonlander paired with the bed rug, it's light and it does a lot. It's great. I realized I should tell you about my toilet situation. I have a clean waste outdoors bucket toilet seat situation. This thing is great. I have a 3-year-old daughter that I mentioned before, and it has these little bags that kind of all ziplock together. You can just throw the stuff away. It has a powder that turns the urine into gel, so I can set this up at the end of the bed and my daughter can pee in it all night, and I can just take the trash out in the morning. I really love clean waste outdoors. That's what I'm using for my bathroom needs. It's been great. Which reminds me, now I should talk about something else. I realize some of you might be wondering what I'm doing for water, so I'm gonna show you that. I actually have a Lifesaver jerry can. If you don't know about these things, you really should. The cool thing about that is I have this little shower attachment hose that it can do laundry, you can take showers with it, but finding water on the road is so easy, right? I can get water from anywhere and it'll filter it and make it drinkable. From any non-potable water spigot, I can pull water straight out of a river. Like, these were made to make safe drinking water in Africa, and it's like I can get a hose, I can pull it out of a creek, I can get water from anywhere. So that's what I'm using for water, Lifesaver jerry can. Definitely check these things out. All right, that wraps up the tour. This is I am Isaac, and this is my 2006 Toyota Tundra double cab 4-wheel drive truck. This is my Overland truck camper build with the Radica Moonlander X camper on the back. I think I covered everything. If I missed anything, or you guys are very curious about one thing or another, hop in the comment section below and we can have a conversation about it. And this is just my current setup right now. It's been a while since I've done a tour, and I just wanted to do a tour and show you the current Overland setup I have right now, but it's also built for full-time travel. I do plan on doing a couple more things to make it even more functional and more practical for my needs and traveling. And I will say, I just drove from Oregon to Colorado through Utah and back, and this truck is so capable. The places this truck has took me has been insane. That a van, even an all-wheel drive van, could have never gone the places that this truck just went right now with the setup that I have. It's super comfortable to drive. It's great. And then the camper, like last night, it was super duper duper windy. And it's like, I didn't even realize it was windy being in the back of that truck. And then with the thermostat controlled heater, it's like, I'm just cozy. So this is a really cool setup, and it's like, if you wanted something that's a little bit more capable to travel the country in and get parts and fix and be reliable, these old Toyota Tundras, these first gen Tundras, are really, really, really hard to beat. And then when we're talking about campers, like, again, if you're just camping once in a while, a lot of stuff doesn't really matter to you. But if you're using this thing every single day, having to pop something and pop it down every single time you want to do something can get old. They do have wedges that are typically made for easier use, but I really like having the hard sides on this whole thing, and it's really not that big and bulky. Like I hardly feel it. I really like my setup right now, so it's great. A couple little things, I'm gonna try and dial it in a bit better, but my first gen Tundra paired with the Radica Moonlander X is amazing. I love it. I am not paid to make this video. I am not paid to say anything. This is my tour, my Overland truck tour, and I just want to show you what I'm working with right now. And I'm hyped on it. So again, if you guys have any questions, hop in the comment section below. I'm gonna take this one out. My name is Isaac. Thank you so much for watching. I love this setup, and as it changes, I'll do an upgraded tour. And if I ever end up with something else, truck or camper, I'll do a tour and tell you about why I made that switch or not. So I'm just trying to give you guys authentic content about what's working for me right now and why I love whatever's happening right now. So anyways, also, if you like truck camper stuff or any type of builds, consider subscribing, because I'm going to be doing a lot more traveling in this. I also have a converted school bus I'm going to travel in, and then I do repairs on my house back in Oregon once in a while. So this is Isaac signing out. Thanks for watching. Peace. Bye.